Welcome to a retrospective review of Intruder. He's crazy about this store.
Directed by Scott Spiegel, starring Elizabeth Cox, Renee Estevez, Dan Hicks, David Burns, Sam Raimi, and Ted Raimi, Intruder is about an overnight stalk crew who finds themselves being stalked and slashed by a mysterious maniac. What do we like about this movie, guys?
I really like the mystery aspect of who the killer is. You're supposed to think it's Craig, but the way they shoot it, it could be anyone in the story.
Hey, who is that?
Because you know it's not Craig. It's pretty damn obvious.
I thought it was Craig. He had a leather jacket. He's badass. He's definitely a killer. Oh, but he's also an asshole.
He was like trying to save the day, and nobody trusted him.
He only was saving the day after he realized there was a killer, and that was before he was punching his ex-girlfriend.
You're crazy!
Call me that.
But I did like that they use all these crazy shots. They probably overused them, but they did different things with the cinematography, whether it was blood dripping onto a light to make the room red, or awkwardly shooting a conversation in the mirrors above like produce or whatever. They were just constantly trying to do new things with the cinematography, and I can appreciate that.
They also mastered the match cut.
Though that did concern us that we weren't going to see any of the kills. But fortunately, we actually got some really inventive kills and some really good effects.
It shows so many cool deaths, and ones that you would want in a grocery store slasher movie. From the box compactor to the bandsaw that they would use to cut meat. I think that's probably the most memorable scene for most people.
They can't find the guy's head.
Guy lost his head.
One I would have liked to see was the killer shaving the slices of someone's head. He set it on the thickest setting.
Well, and the teeth are gonna fuck up the whole situation. You're gonna have to move slices all over the place, get the teeth out. It'd be a whole ordeal, I think. With the bandsaw, it's just like, fuck it, we're cutting right above the teeth and everything's gravy. I like that Sam Raimi and Ted Raimi were in this movie. Ted Raimi is the weirdest character, and I loved it. He's just doing his job.
Lost your job, Joe.
And cutting watermelons like a fucking idiot. And I loved it.
I'd cut that right out of there. That's what I'm gonna do.
Now, if you haven't seen this movie, it's a spoiler, but Dan Hicks as our killer. He was so hilarious.
I especially liked when he was doing this weird little hop while he was running on the checkout lanes. That was amazing.
The part that I liked was at like the very end when he's like playing innocent to the cops.
They did it. They killed everybody.
He's
Wait a minute,
lying!
no, he's the murderer and... God damn it!
One of the cops being Bruce Campbell.
The way they market this movie after release was like, put Sam Raimi, Bruce Campbell on it, as if they were like the big star.
I mean, the biggest star is clearly Renee Estevez.
Really just...
Know anybody who needs a new cashier? I'll get it.
See? Opportunity calling right now.
I did like the ending of this movie though. I like that they didn't win. Like, it wasn't really like a happy ending. We suspected that the asshole, Craig, was going to like end up with the girl that he was clearly beating on. But that didn't happen. So that's kind of a win.
They are complete idiots as they just stood there, dead bodies all over the place, holding a cleaver as the cops arrive. Like, drop the cleaver and everything would have been good. But nope, they get locked up. And there's no one to say otherwise. All evidence suggests you did the killing.
Which is a problem for almost every horror movie, right? Like when you have one survivor.
Wasn't me.
The two girls are talking and it just immediately like cuts over to a magazine with Sting on it for some reason.
Felt like someone was watching me.
I did find the Craig creeping shots to be really hilarious because it's so evident that he's just like looking through the windows or like standing behind the door and nobody notices him.
What didn't we like about this movie?
I didn't like the stoner guy.
He was so weird.
The way that he talked was aggravating.
I think I know where Craig might be hiding.
Where?
The attic.
Up there where I caught you guys smoking that wacky tobacco?
He was just so annoying, and he didn't really fit in well with the rest of the crew.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know. It was such a weird accent.
Hey, Dave, throw me your cutter.
Get your own cutter.
Just let me have it. Mine broke.
There was like a well-spoken stoner accent, like, I don't know.
So you and Craig used to be friends?
Yeah, he got me this job. I was his best friend for a while.
A lot of this crew, I didn't care if they lived or died. I cared about like Ted Raimi because he was so goofy. But even our main girl, Jennifer, I was okay with her like not surviving out of this one. because she made a lot of dumb decisions. Even the interaction with the cops. If someone's calling 911 and all of a sudden like they're screaming, the phone hangs up. A lot of the things were just really dumb with how the cops handled this whole situation.
I'm the one who called you! Shut up!
There was a lot of weird things that were kind of left in, like some jokes that really didn't land. Like with the two older cops that came up, there was a lot of jokes that fell flat.
Yeah, the one cop was like basically a knockoff Mr. Magoo.
Don't hesitate to call, and here's my card.
No, that's not my card. That's my card.
Which kind of brings me to the pacing. For something that had some cool kills and a good like story behind it, it was a slowly paced film.
Especially like the final act, when we finally know who our killer is. The chase, well solid, was way too long. Like it went for like 25 minutes probably of just Bill chasing Jennifer. I liked isolated shots, but all of the shots were extended. Like her just sitting in that popcorn stand. She was there for so long just sitting there, and they would just get so many different angles of it. It just seems like wasted time.
You're playing hard to get rid of.
When that laundry detergent box just kept falling, I think it was a joke at like maybe the 3rd time, but the like 19th time was like a bit too much.
Hey, asswipe, cut it out!
The motivation of Bill is kind of sloppy.
Danny was always a big boss. He always called the shots on every business deal until now.
I get him wanting to kill one person, but like everyone?
And they even basically like write it off as just like, I got carried away.
I guess I just got a little carried away.
You're sick!
Well, like, I could understand, like, he goes to kill the main guy, and then one of the employees sees that, so he has to kill that. And then one of the employees finds that, and it could just be a little fun romp of him just trying to clean up his mess.
He easily could have just let all the teenage employees leave, and then like the owners in their soundproof box above the store, you could have just killed them in there. No one would have known.
Cleaned it up, everyone goes home, store's saved.
Does this mean we get a raise?
Unfortunately, no.
Like an episode of Scooby-Doo.
He could he could have just disposed of the body in like the butcher shop, sell the ground meat to the customers.
We've seen movies like that before.
Remember, they had the best produce.
And best meat.
Oh yeah, they had the best everything.
Well, I think that best sign was like self-awarded. I don't think there's any integrity behind that sign. It's time for our final thoughts and ratings. Overall, I enjoyed the movie. I think it's a little bit of having some like affinity for Ted and Sam Raimi, so just seeing them makes me happy. It's a movie from 89 or 88. So obviously now we can nitpick on some things that could be better and better storytelling and things like that. But for the time and what's presumably kind of a lower budget, it was cool. It was fun. It was actually filmed in a grocery store, which was also made even better. You got cool kills. Story was kind of weak. The music was kind of odd at times, and it dragged on a little bit. But overall, I think it's worth a watch. So I'm gonna give this 3.5 fastest price guns in the West out of 5.
I enjoyed Intruder, mainly because I like the kills. And I like when slasher movies really take hold of the environment that they're using. But the fact that you have this crew doing things that they would usually probably do, like stocking shelves, somebody behind the beer, like talking through it like they would in a regular grocery store, is just kind of cool. I did have some issues with the pacing, especially when it came towards the end, because I felt like it just dragged on a little bit, but I did like the movie overall because it's just like a cheesy little slasher that tried some interesting shots. Not all of them worked, but it was fun to see what they were going to do next. So I'm gonna give this 3.5 smooth entrances out of 5.
This film was really down the middle for me because I liked certain aspects, especially with the POV style for the killer. I liked our kills, but I really didn't care for our characters, other than Sam and Ted Raimi, but that's because I like Sam and Ted Raimi as people. The pacing of this film really felt off. I felt that it dragged near the end. The story is pretty basic and there's not much to it, which can be good because you're not overthinking on such a simple concept. There's a killer in a grocery store and they're doing grocery-related kills. So with that being said, I'm gonna give this film 2.5 guys eating a sandwich while swinging a head out of 5.
As always, thank you for watching. Like this video and comment below with your thoughts on the film if you've seen it. If you haven't and you do want to check it out, links are in the description. And if this is your first time here, make sure you subscribe to the channel to stay up to date with everything.
Bloodbath TV.
It's a bloodbath in there, man. They got bodies all over the place.